everybody. It's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English Podcast, the podcast where we learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. Today, I've prepared another episode for you guys, and we discuss news in levels today, another great topic, and we're trying to connect the modern news or actual news and some English learning process, right? Today's discussion will be about the Trump wants to stop money for Harvard University, and I'm using the website newsinlevels.com. On this website, you can find many news, and these news are divided into 3 levels. So if you're a beginner or pre-intermediate student, so you can click on level 1, and then you will understand how these things works. And what does it mean? What things are right in the news? Because it's all words are pretty understandable there. If you are an intermediate student, so the best way you can do is just go to level 2 and just get some more enhancement of the text. And then if you are an advanced speaker or you're an upper intermediate student, so you can definitely go with level 3. And today we're discussing the level 3 statement. So we discuss and we read the new posts, right? The news posts and the post about Trump who wants to stop money for Harvard University. You know who is Donald Trump, right? And that's going to be a pretty nice discussion. It's a little bit politician, I would say political news, right? Not a politician guy, but I just want to not discuss the personas here. I want to discuss the new, right? Or the news in general. And another thing, before I start, I want to say a couple words about my community on Telegram channel. So if you're curious about English learning, if you want to progress even more, even deeper, so go to Telegram. It's the messenger where we have a community group. And just go to the search bar and find Emotional English there. So go to Telegram, find Emotional English there with your search button or bar. Then you can go to Boosty website, right? We have an account there for our financial support. If you like our podcast, if you want to support us, you can go to Boosty and support our podcast episodes, right? Or if you want to help even more, you can donate money and get the subscription plus account, and that's you will get extra episode of a video revision and one extra episode of a podcast. So if you guys are interested, just go to these resources and learn English even deeper, okay? So, but today, as I said before, we're discussing the topic of Trump wants to stop money for Harvard University. I will read this mini story. It's like 4 paragraphs here only, and we go step by step. We read these paragraphs and then we discuss every new word we see here, okay? I will try to comment. I will try to make it more understandable while we're working with this little story, okay? And then we will discuss the vocabulary, the focus vocabulary in the end, just to double check, did you memorize it or do you remember this? Just a double check, right? Let's begin. So we have the first paragraph here. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to take away Harvard University tax-exempt status after freezing over $2 billion in federal funding. It's a one sentence, and this is the paragraph, okay? Very simple paragraph. So we see here that United States President Donald Trump, very popular guy, right, is threatening. What does it mean when somebody threatens you? Do you remember? Yeah, threatening, it can be your feeling, right? I'm threatened, right? You can say I'm threatened by someone, or something can be threatening as an adjective. So you can describe something threatening when somebody is kind of looking scary, right? So if you see the Donald Trump and he's threatening someone, he's saying something very, very bad. And that's why people are scared, okay? So Donald Trump is threatening. He is doing some things. He is threatening people, or maybe the Harvard University officials, right? Maybe the dean or the general manager of this place or facility, right? So anyway, U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening, is speaking aggressively and scaring the shit out of them, using this very scary idiomic or phrasal word, right? So I want to say even deeper here. So he is threatening to take away Harvard University tax exempt status. What does it mean, tax exempt status? People are scared because that federal government giving money to different facilities, and Harvard University is a very big facility, and this university has a tax exempt status. It's like a special rule for this organization to not pay taxes. Harvard University is not a free school. You can study there only with a lot of money. So yes, there are some like donations people can make, right? And using these donations, you can study there for free. There are some programs which you can use and that you can use and go to Harvard for free, but it's not realistically. So classically, it's a private school, okay? So it's not the government who funding this university. It's the people who funding this university, right? In history, it's a very historical place. And tax exempt status is a special status when you shouldn't pay the taxes, right? And you can imagine churches, right? Or religious organizations, right? Do they pay taxes? No, they don't pay taxes. They have a tax exempt status, right? Tax exempt status. So the same as Harvard. But Donald Trump, he threatened Harvard University administration that this tax exempt status after freezing over $2 billion in federal funding. So it means that he's blocking, he wants to block tax exempt status of Harvard University right after freezing off $2 billion federal funding. So he's changing the country policies all over the world. I mean, all over his country, and he's trying to cut off the expenses of the federal government, federal funds. So he's not funding the Harvard University. He wants to stop doing this, right? And we have a question: why? Why is it happening, right? And there is an answer here. So we had discussed the first paragraph and the answer on why he made this threatening choice, right? Or he made this threatening policy because Harvard refused to follow his administration's demands. Okay. So the administration of Donald Trump wanted something from Harvard, but they ignored it. So actually, people say that there is a freedom of speech in USA, right? And we see here that freedom of speech does not exist because someone refused to follow someone's demands. And then what do you have? You have the lack of freedom of speech. So some people say that Russia has no freedom. But look at this. The president is kind of manipulating the Harvard University administration. And it sounds like a very big problem for both. If they would do that, people would disagree this decision. And probably, Harvard would raise their prices for their education. Because you know what? If it's a private school, if it's the business school, probably they make a lot of money. And they not just make this money, they even keep it in their pockets. But when they should pay the taxes, right, they should have asking more money from their students. So that's the point. So this happened because Harvard refused to follow his administration demands. And what kind of demands, you could ask, right? Danilo, what kind of demands? What did they want, right? So they wanted to kind of changes to its hiring and admissions policies and actions to fight what the government calls anti-Semitism on campus. As you see, there is one important word here in this statement, right? The first part is pretty simple, right? It's the changes to hiring policies and admissions policies, and actions to fight what the government calls anti-Semitism on campus. What does it mean? Hiring admission, it's the way how you offer, hiring policies and admission policies. It's the policies which you should follow while you're trying to study in Harvard, right? Before you study in Harvard, you kind of passing different exams, you having different, how do you call it, like interviews, right? You pass IELTS or TOEFL exam, probably TOEFL here, or GMAT exam, whatever they're asking you for. So, and then after that, you go and you study there, right? But probably government had asked something to change in these policies, but they didn't do it, right? They ignored what the government asked them for. And another reason is actions related to anti-Semitism. Do you know what is anti-Semitism? I think you guys understand this. It's like when people dislike Jews, right? When you dislike people who are from Jerusalem, from, how do you call these people? One second. I think I'm weird today. So look, there are people who live in Jerusalem, and they are Jewish people, right? Why they're Jewish? Because who are they? One second. How do you call this country? Okay, give me a sec. I need to Google it. My brain doesn't work today. Who live in Jerusalem? All right, give me 1 sec. Okay, Jews, Muslims. Okay, guys, how do you call? Okay, let me see. How do you call? Do you call a country where Jews live? I really forgotten, guys. You can make joke of me, right? Out of me right here, right? Israel, of course, Israelis, right? Oh my goodness, what's going on with me today? So anyway, Israelis, right? So if you're an anti-Semitist, probably you follow this stupid idea. You're trying to hate people who are Jews. That's called anti-Semitism, right? When you hate the nation, right? And in this case, Donald Trump is pissed. He has a very good relationship with Israel, and they want to stop funding Harvard University. But it's not all. Why they need this kind of actions to fight, right? Because there are many people there who are standing for Gaza, who are against war in Gaza, you know? And Trump, he trying to push this idea that Gaza is a pretty good place, that we will make the second Dubai or whatever his plans are, right? Actually, it's about Palestine, right? This is a political news. And classically, probably many Harvard University students, they stand against war like a normal human beings, you know? But he disagrees with that. So it's like a manipulation from the government perspective. That was the second paragraph. Let's read this full paragraph one more time to revise it, okay? So we had a discussion that Trump threatened to take away Harvard University tax-exempt status, right? And this happens because Harvard refused to follow his administration demands, which included changes to its hiring and admission policies and actions to fight what government calls anti-Semitism on campus. What is a campus? It's a place where you live, right? You call it a campus. Or the place you study, you call it a campus. Campus, the place where you stay as a student. So that's a campus as well. Let's go to the third paragraph. The university's refusal is seen as a challenge, and the administration argues that protests at Harvard against the war in Gaza show the university tolerates anti-Semitism. Okay, so it's just the clarification of this problem, right, of this anti-Semitism case. So the university refusal is seen as challenge. So refusal is when you say no. You say, look, I don't like this chocolate. It's your refusal. You say no to the things, right? What kind of refusal we have in this context? We have the university. It's called Harvard. And Harvard University refuses to do what the Trump's administration is saying, right? So they're refusing. In the reason of that, the administration argues. I mean, the administration of Donald Trump argues that protest at Harvard, because Harvard have a lot of protests, a lot of students, activists. This protest goes against the war in Gaza. They don't like what's going on in Gaza. And this showed the university tolerates anti-Semitism, right? So it sounds like it. It looks like it. Because if you say that war in Gaza is bad, you dislike Jews. But in my opinion, this is crazy. Man, you're against war, not against Jews. It's not about Jews at all. Like why people think that this is anti-Semitism. It's just the act against the war. It's not against the anti-Semitism, I mean, it's not for anti-Semitism. Okay, never mind. So what does it mean tolerates? Tolerates when you're okay with something, right? And they say that government, Donald Trump administration says that, look, you guys tolerate anti-Semitism. You okay with killing Israeli, right? And this is very bad. This is very bad. So this is probably not true because people probably don't want that. They want to stop the war. They don't want to kill anyone. It means no one should die. But you know how many people had died in the Gaza Strip? I mean, a lot, millions. So that's very bad. Not millions, maybe less. Maybe I'm just trolling here. But look, many people dying there. Okay. So Trump posts on social media added pressure, accusing Harvard of spreading dangerous ideas. It's another blame, right? What the Trump put on them. When you're putting blame on someone, you're saying that they're not good, okay? And Trump posted a post on social media, probably X Twitter, right? And it's kind of blocked in Russia, by the way. It's an organization which you shouldn't go. According to the Russian law, please remember that. It's a terrorist organization like Meta. Do not go to Facebook. Do not go to X, Twitter, because this is very dangerous. That's what the Russian law said. Remember about this. So Trump posts on social media added pressure, accusing Harvard of spreading dangerous ideas. He just says, hey, guys, you know what? You're just too dangerous. You're spreading a very bad idea. Spreading, it's like when you make one idea very popular, right? You're spreading the information, spreading the news, spreading the coronavirus, right? Spread is like a wave. After the spread, you understand everything, what's going on. If we discuss some point of the media or of the information, so you understand something right away because it's over the spread, right? Like a wave. And many spreads are about crazy ideas, right? What the administration think of, right? So as you see, that's the end of the paragraph number 3. I will read it again and I will clarify it again. The university's refusal is seen as a challenge in the administration. And the administration argues that protests at Harvard against the war in Gaza show the university tolerates anti-Semitism. Trump's post on social media added pressure, accusing Harvard of spreading dangerous ideas. Yeah, so Trump is pissed. Trump is not liking the idea that, someone can say no to him, right? So that's why he is pushing even more with social media and saying that Harvard spreading dangerous ideas. And this is a manipulation, guys. So don't do like this. Manipulations are bad, okay? Let's go to the paragraph number 4, shall we? So some people ask why Harvard, with a $50 billion endowment, should receive public money. However, much of that funding supports important research in medicine and science. Yeah, let's go step by step. This paragraph has a lot of sentences. Let's start from the first one. Some people ask why Harvard, with a $50 billion endowment, should receive public money, right? And this is the idea that Harvard University is getting a $50 billion endowment, right? $50 billion endowment. An endowment is like the special amount of money that's given to support a school or institution. You already have the tax exempt, like we discussed, right? And this tax exempt status is about not getting the taxes from the university's profit, right? And as I see here, probably Harvard is getting $50 billion endowment. Endowment is like a payment from the government, like an investment, like a charity donation, from the government, as I see. And people say that they shouldn't receive public money, right? And $50 billion endowment, it's not it is a pretty big deal. Let me double check. Some people ask why Harvard should receive this sum of money, right? It's a private university and it's getting $50 billion endowment from the government. It's kind of weird, right? If it's a university for billionaires, let billionaires pay for it, right? Without any endowment. Probably this $50 billion investment is for geniuses, for kids who are very, very talented. And I think it's a normal thing to invest $50 billion $50 billion just to support these kids because they're smart and they have no money, but they have brain. And if you have brain, you need to realize your talent. You need to implement what you have. And this money definitely would help Americans. So American kids. Some people ask why Harvard with a $50 billion endowment should receive public money. Yeah, they should, right? However, much of that funding supports important research in medicine and science. Yeah, so this $50 billion is not only invested just for the kids who are pretty smart, but probably supporting important researches, right? And medicine and science researches. And this thing is pretty interesting because this can be done by other institutions. Why Harvard should do that? Yes, it's a pretty popular school, but there are many big universities who do the same. You can just, if you don't like Harvard, you can just reinvest this amount to another place and they will be fine. They will make even bigger research in their places, right? Third paragraph here, a third sentence. Experts say the government skipped the proper legal steps needed to cut funding. Yeah, so that's what the experts say. So they say that the government skipped. It means they didn't do proper legal steps, correct steps to cut funding, right? When you're cutting funding, you stop giving money to people. So funding is the process of giving money. And when you're cutting funding, you're not giving money to anyone, right? The same is if you like your favorite, for your football club or hockey club. This club has funding, right? Private funding, maybe some organizations funding it. And then when you have a cut funding, it means that they don't invest anymore. They don't give you this charity money, right, anymore. So this is all gone. And experts say that it all happens, this $50 billion endowment happens because government skipped the proper legal steps. So there are some, let's say, correct steps should be done, right? And they avoided it, right? They needed it, but they avoided it. So they didn't cut funding correctly. That's why they still financing it. Very true. As in Russian economy, we have the same problems, right? So our government is pretty bureaucratical and, I would say bureaucracy is all around. So yeah, it's a popular problem, not only in the US, but all around the world. So usually, another sentence here, usually there must be proof of wrongdoing and time given for the university to respond, right? And as they say here, usually there must be proof, like there must be something that shows that they're doing something wrong, right? And you call it wrongdoing. When something is a wrongdoing, it's not a correct action, right? And there must be a case of wrongdoing, people say here, right? And the time given for the university to respond. So as they say, it's just they were informed. I mean, the Harvard University administration, they were informed, and now they will answer with something, right? If they okay with funding cut, with cut funding, so it's fine. Probably funding cut. If they're okay with funding cut, it's okay. But if they're not okay with funding cut, they probably will do something about these protests, right? Maybe they will block them. Maybe they will fight with their students. And but who study in Harvard University? Very rich people, I guess. So I don't think so that rich people would take care of it much, Probably it's all happens from their good nature because they have money already. They don't care about money. So, the peace, that's what they're looking for. And if the university would try to block their freedom of speech, they would be pissed. And that would be even more problems. And maybe these protests would go on the street. And that's not what you want, right? So, exactly. So there must be a proof of wrongdoing, right? And that's why university has a time to respond. But again, this case, if this case would be implemented, it would be implemented all around the country, Oh, yeah. And I have a sentence here about the same ideas. This legal battle could affect all universities in the future. Absolutely. So this is what could be a phenomena that would correlate with all other universities, right? If you're another university which support Gaza or who goes against the war in Gaza, you would have a funding cut. So that's why you should decide: are you with this political BS, or you're trying to be independent? You should find your own will. And that's the last but not least paragraph, guys. We've got this. So again, the topic is pretty simple, right? That Trump, he doesn't want to pay to Harvard University with their federal money because they are pissed. They're pissed that this university is promoting the idea against the war in Gaza. They think it's not good. It's anti-Semitism. Trump thinks that this university tolerates anti-Semitism, and that's why all these things happening here. Okay, so they want to cut funding. They want to cut funding, the $50 billion funding, the $50 billion endowment. It's another word for funding, for investments, right? For charity investment money, right? Or federal money. And then they want to remove the tax-exempt status of this university. And this is very, very dangerous. This is very dangerous for Harvard. So hope that the freedom of speech will exist and nothing bad would happen. So I'm standing with Harvard, I would say, right? I would protect the freedom of speech than the government policy. Okay. So that's my point. So that's the topic, guys. We can read the last paragraph one more time. Then maybe I will try to discuss some vocab that we have faced here. And then we will read the whole text again just for the revision. Some people ask why Harvard, with a $50 billion endowment, should receive public money. However, much of that funding supports important research in medicine and science. Experts say the government skipped the proper legal steps needed to cut funding. Usually, there must be proof of wrongdoing and time given for the university to respond. This legal battle could affect all universities in the future. Yeah, that's what's going on. And we have here three interesting words, right? First word was tax-exempt policy or tax-exempt status. When you have a tax-exempt status, it means you're not paying taxes, right? And churches have tax-exempt status. Some universities have tax-exempt status because they're fully supported by the government and they don't want these organizations to pay back with taxes. So probably universities are using all the taxes to improve their services and whatever they use the money for, right? The next word we discussed, the word funding. When you're funding something, you're giving money somebody, right, or someone. So next word was anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is the word against the people who live in Israel. And how do you call people who live in Israel? You call them Israeli people, right, or Jews, right? Jews. That's a traditional naming for Israeli people. What else? The next word was endowment. Endowment, and this is pretty interesting word about the money that you give to support a school or an institution, like a federal funding, or money that the government gives to schools and universities to support them. Yeah, and I think that's all. That's all for the focus vocabulary for today. And let's read the whole paragraph again. I mean, the whole text again. And that will be it for today, guys. So Trump wants to stop money for Harvard University. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to take away Harvard University tax-exempt status after freezing over $2 billion in federal funding. This happens because Harvard refused to follow his administration demands, which included changes to its hiring and admissions policies and actions to fight what the government calls anti-Semitism on campus. The university's refusal is seen as a challenge, and the administration argues that protests at Harvard against the war in Gaza show the university tolerates anti-Semitism. Trump's post on social media added pressure, accusing Harvard of spreading dangerous ideas. Some people ask why Harvard, with a $50 billion endowment, should receive public money. However, much of that funding supports important research in medicine and science, and experts say the government skipped the proper legal steps needed to cut funding. Usually there must be proof of wrongdoing and time given for the university to respond. This legal battle could affect all universities in the future. Alrighty then, that was the newsinlevels.com website with a beautiful new for us with Trump wants to stop money for Harvard University, guys. I hope it was fun and interesting, but I'm going to leave you for a couple weeks because I'm going to Sheridan. I'm going to work with another program for kids, for siblings, and so I'm going to do good. It's my little vacation with the volunteering. I think I like volunteering, and this year I want to volunteer even more than the previous one, or at least the same. So that's why I'm doing this. I hope you guys feel very good with your language. So continue learning, listen more, learn new vocab, and don't forget to subscribe. Let's stay in touch, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.